Hey there, so are you trying to buy a house today in this hot market and you keep getting beat out by cash offers? Today we're going to talk about how you can win against a cash offer. So with any real estate contract, there are terms in the contract and what they call contingency dates that dictate you must perform an action before the next step of the contract proceeds. And there are several different contingency periods in the contract, and depending upon how you structure your contract will help you win against a cash offer. So you might be asking, what are contingencies? And contingencies are timeframes with regards to time and money in the contract that help protect the buyer and the seller. So there's things such as an earnest money contingency, a closing contingency, and we're going to go through all of those so that you can better prepare yourself to win on your next offer. So one of the first contingency periods you'll experience is the home inspection. A home inspection checks the property against defaults, makes sure everything's mechanically working, plumbing, electrical, etc. Most contracts are a 5 to 7, possibly a 10-day contingency period where they call it your due diligence. In that time frame, you get your home inspection completed so that you can see if you want to proceed with the home and go forward. Once that due diligence period has ended, the next phase stops. If you try to cancel in that due diligence period, then your earnest money is not at risk. Your next contingency period generally is the appraisal. An appraisal is an opinion of value, and if you're getting financing, you're always going to need an appraisal. In this market, there is occasion where you might get an appraisal waiver depending upon the address and your down payment and terms, but more than likely you'll need an appraisal. And that appraisal contingency most of the time is for almost the length of the contract. In this market, appraisals are taking at least 10 business days. So if your appraisal contingency is for 14 days, within that time, you're supposed to get your appraisal completed and back with the value so that you can decide if the value came in at price, or if not, what you guys want to do going forward to renegotiate the terms. Next is your financing contingency. Again, we're talking about winning a bid with financing, so you're going to have a financing contingency. And during that time, that's the time when the lender is underwriting your file and making sure that everything meets guidelines and that you do have an approvable loan that will close. If for some reason in that contingency period things don't go as planned, there is an out for you to back out of the contract. There's also a title contingency policy. We pull preliminary title on the property to make sure that the home you're purchasing is free and clear of any liens from the current seller. And if something comes up, at least during that contingency period, you have the opportunity to back out of the contract. First and most important is your sale contingency. That is your closing deadline. We are scheduled to close by a certain date based upon what you all negotiated in the contract. So you want to be super mindful of those time frames, because if you fall outside of that time frame, you could get locked into the contract. Your earnest money might be at risk, and other terms might expire based upon how you negotiated that. So you want to be super careful of the sale contingency and closing time frames. So now that we talked about contingencies and a few of them and what they mean, we're going to talk about how you can negotiate a strong contract in this hot market, even against a cash offer. So basically, you want to make sure that your offer stands out with the seller. Not a lot of contingencies, not a lot of friction. You want to make it super easy for them so that they can go, yes, I'll pick you over cash, because cash is usually king. However, I find that sometimes in markets, you still have the emotional aspects of sellers, and they will look at your contract over a cash offer for other reasons and terms that you've listed. So with a cash offer, the reason why they're so attractive is because you don't have an appraisal contingency, you don't have a financing deadline, and you're not worrying about some of the other things that are in place. Yes, you might have a home inspection and a closing date, but that's why a seller would take a cash offer over a financed offer. And while that sounds amazing, not everyone can pay cash for a home. So let's divulge what you can do to win on your next bid. Hopefully by this point, you're working with a seasoned professional real estate agent who has your best interest at heart. In this market, they need to be full-time, experienced, and know how to negotiate. That's going to help you with negotiating forward because you want your real estate agent to call the listing agent and the seller and have a conversation. What do they want? What are they looking for? Because finding that information might help you structure your offer to win. Not only will that help your offer stand out, it shows that your agent makes a good impression, that they want to communicate and they will help make the sale close. So here's some more tips of how to make the seller motivated to take your offer over cash. Have you ever heard that term, highest and best? Well, this is the time you might want to implement that. Highest and best might be how much are you willing to pay, even if it's over list price, to make your offer stand out. And I'm not saying hundreds of thousands over list price, because then you have to worry about future appreciation and if it will ever appreciate to what you pay for it. But in this case, offering over list price will make your offer stand out, and it's important that you consider that when you're strategizing of how to win. Some next tips are to remove those contingencies. If you're able to remove the appraisal contingency, possibly you got an appraisal waiver, now you don't need an appraisal, that will help put your offer in first place. Next is removing the inspection contingencies and buying the home as is. That might be a risk on your side, but if you have a home inspection and you know what you're working with, don't ask for repairs and nickel and dime. So next is being flexible, because here's why. Without that phone call from your agent to the listing agent and the seller, you have no idea what the seller's trying to accomplish. They might be trying to sell, to move, to buy something else, to relocate, to who knows what. But being flexible will help you tremendously with maybe more earnest money, a longer close time, a renting back, whatever that looks like. That will help your offer win and stand out. Because I know that, put yourself in the seller's shoes. If I got an offer all cash and they wanted to close in 3 days, wouldn't let me rent back, and I had to move out, I would turn that away, especially if my situation was that I needed to sell this to move somewhere else and have time to relocate. So keep that in mind. Remember, the sellers are human and they have goals they're trying to accomplish as well. So if you are flexible and try to be accommodating with what they're looking for, I bet your offer will stand up more than that cash deal or the agents that just shove the offer in the other agent's face. You want to put their mind at ease and make their life easier, because whether you're buying or selling, it's still stressful, and I don't care how many times you've done it before, there's still a lot to keep together and checklists and milestones to keep. So whatever you can do to make that seller more comfortable will help you win your bid. So you ready? Here's the things that you need to win on your next offer. Number 1, highest and best use. Number 2, offer more than the requested earnest money. Number 3, 3-day contingency or as is. Number 4, a quick close. And number 5, be flexible and do not have a contingency to sell your current home. Those things will make your offer stand out just as much as a cash offer, and even higher, because if you're trying to be flexible and accommodate the seller, they'll take notice. And I said before, it's super important that you have a team of experts working on your side. That includes your realtor and your lender, because those two people together can make or break your transaction. Those two people can help make your offer stand out and help you win in this hot market. It may take you a couple of rounds to get it right, but if you keep being persistent and flexible, you'll win on your next offer. Now keep in mind, I'm not telling you to waive all your contingencies, because the contingencies are there to keep you in check, the seller in check, and to protect each of you. So if you're uncomfortable with these strategies, please don't follow them and don't go outside the guidelines, because you can still win without having to lay all your cards on the table or make a deal with the devil, so to speak. And again, the contingencies are there to keep you protected. If you go forward and you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm stuck, I don't know what to do, there is always a way to back out and keep your earnest money protected. As always, if you have additional questions, I'm here to help. My name is Aundrea Beach-Greco. I'm your local mortgage expert. helping Las Vegans for the last 24 years with their credit, wealth, and finances. It's my passion to help you the largest investment of your lifetime, your home. So if I can be of service to you, I would love to help out. Talk to you soon. You have an awesome day. Oh, and by the way, if you're new to my channel, please make sure you like, subscribe, tap that little bell. I post new content all the time and I'd hate for you to miss it.